everyone. My name's Carrie Egnosak. I'm an academic advisor in academic advising for the Chaikin Center for Student Success here at Penn State World Campus. I'm also a proud Penn State alum, graduating from the Barron campus in Erie, Pennsylvania, with my undergraduate degree in psychology. I also have a master's degree in student affairs and higher education from Indiana University of Pennsylvania. The reason I wanted to chat with you today is all about connection. That's why I wanted to mention that not only am I an academic advisor with Penn State World Campus, but I'm a proud Penn State alum as well. You should also know that I'm a first-generation college student. I'm the first person in my family to go to college. So whenever I first started my Penn State journey, I had a lot to learn. There were a lot of unknowns. And I'm hoping that by sharing my story with you, both as a student as well as an academic advisor, that you'll be able to take some lessons from the things that I've learned, to grow, to learn, to maybe learn about some new resources that you were unaware of, but just to help you overall have that connection with Penn State and Penn State World Campus. So, as I mentioned, first generation college student. So when I came to Penn State, everything was new. It was a huge transition, and I got extremely homesick. So much so that I had a panic attack during my first week of classes. And I realize you're probably thinking, okay, well, homesickness, that's not necessarily something I need to worry about because I'm a World Campus student. So most likely you're taking classes from home. But I mention it because it was a stressor. And no matter what you're facing, you're adding in a level of stress potentially by becoming a college student. We all face different stresses. And so I just want you to know that you're not alone. You have supports that are here and available to you as a Penn State student to help with your transition to college. Whether you're taking one class or 5 classes, this is something that's potentially brand new. Or maybe it's not your first time going to college, but it's a new time in your life. There are different situations that might be occurring that are allowing you to come back to school now. And so I just want you to know that there are resources available to you. For me, whenever I was homesick and having that panic attack, thankfully a family member suggested that I utilize the personal counseling resources that were available to me at Penn State Barron. And here at World Campus, we have similar resources that are free to you as a student as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for a moment. Hopefully you can all now see the Student Center or your student portal. And on the homepage, you'll find inclusion and wellness and both mental health and Let's Talk resources. Let's Talk is wonderful because it's a drop-in service. So if you have something going on that you need to talk to somebody about, whether that's concerns about your classes that might be stressing you out, or a family situation or a work situation, you're able to drop in and chat with someone. And I think that's amazing because I am the type of person who I think having a conversation can really help. I know that's not always possible. Phone and Zoom are wonderful if you can, utilize them. Sometimes those conversations happen through email communication as well. And that's where our mental health resources can really come in too. We have a variety of self-service mental health resources that you can use on your own. And we also have case managers as well. So they're kind of like our personal counselors too, if you wanted to make an appointment with them to chat. And this really helped me as a Penn State student because after meeting with someone and talking through all of the stresses that I was facing and the changes in going to college and balancing work and a school schedule, they basically said the biggest thing for me was I needed to get connected. I needed to get involved. So, as I mentioned at the beginning, connection is really what I wanted to chat with you about today. And utilizing our mental health resources can get you into sort of that right headspace to be a strong college student, as well as balancing any of those other roles that you might be trying to balance. Thinking of balance, if you haven't checked out yet our coursework and success area, our academic development services team, they have a lot of helpful resources in terms of finding balance. So with your classes, yes, we have tutoring, we have math and writing and subject support. But we also have an academic skills kit to help with things like time management, study skills, transitioning to taking courses online, and what taking classes at World Campus really looks like. And if you wanted to talk to someone, we also have our academic support email that you can reach out to someone, or you can find our academic development services folks in Starfish under your Success Network, where your academic advisor can also be found, if you'd like to make an appointment with them. We also actually have an academic success coach option too, where if you feel like you need to go a little bit more in depth into the discussion of how can I succeed, how can I really find that balance between all of the things that I have going on in my life, they can help you there too. And your academic advisor can help get you connected to our academic coaching resources. Let's stop my share for a minute. So speaking of your academic advisor, not surprisingly, I'm going to definitely say chat with your academic advisor as a part of connecting with Penn State World Campus, with Penn State, and as just a general support. Your academic advisor is someone who is not just there to help you pick out classes. And yes, we can absolutely do that. We can help you to understand your Lion Path academic requirements report, look at what classes are being offered in which semesters, make a plan towards graduation. But we're also there to, help have those discussions as to what are the classes that are going to be best related to your career goal. Are there minors and certificates out there that might complement what you want to do? For me, whenever I first started with Penn State as a student, I was pretty undecided about what I wanted to do. I came in as a Division of Undergraduate Studies student, an exploratory student, thinking biology. And originally, I placed into trigonometry in terms of math. And I was concerned about that because I had had calculus when I was a student in high school, and I was looking at a major that had multiple levels of calculus. So I was really concerned that I was starting off in trigonometry, and was that going to put me behind? And after having a conversation with my advisor, I realized that being in trigonometry was really the best space for me, because it was going to give me a firm foundation so that I could be successful in all of those future math courses. And they were right. The next semester, whenever I took calculus, the instructor asked me if I wanted to be a math tutor. I did not, but I credit having taken that trigonometry course with taking the time and building my skills to the point where I would be successful in calculus, to that offer to be a tutor. And had I just, tried to go into calculus, I probably would have really struggled. It would have been much more of a challenge. And especially because as a biology major, I would have needed multiple more levels of calculus. That was a really important thing. And as you can probably tell by my phrasing, I did not ultimately complete a biology degree. After having conversations with my academic advisor in my second semester about concerns that I was having with my ecology class, I am not a plant person. I enjoy anatomy, physiology, genetics, the human body, things like that as compared to plants. I always joke that I kill plants. So it's, more up my interest area to look at the human body. I had that conversation with him, and we, changed my schedule around. So I ended up dropping my ecology class and scheduling a developmental psychology class where I got to look at the whole sort of family life cycle, birth through death, and all of the genetic components that can go into that. And I loved it. I often tell folks that class is the class that made me a psychology major. At the time, I did not know what I was going to do with that, but I knew that psychology was the right path for me. And, that's part of those conversations with your academic advisor, with making those connections, with you getting to know them and them getting to know you. My connection with my advisor allowed me that comfort level to really explore and find the right fit for me. They also encouraged me to work with career services. So career services allowed me to look at my skills, my values, my interests, and to see, what majors and careers sort of matched with those things. It wasn't for them to tell me what I should be or what I should do, but just to give me some additional areas to look into, to see where I might want to go and what I might want to do, either in general or more specifically with a psychology major. So if you have not yet worked with our career services folks, Lynn and Matt are career counselors. They're amazing. I currently, as an academic advisor with World Campus, advise Division of Undergraduate Studies exploratory students. So I work with them quite a bit, and they're amazing. Folks come to college, you might know what your major is, but you might not know what you want to do with it. You might have a career goal, but not know what major, minor, certificate is going to work best with that. Or you might be completely undecided about what you want to do. And career services can help with that exploration. So if you're completely undecided, you could take an evaluation that again looks at those skills, values, interests, and abilities and helps you sort of see what's out there, what you might match with. Again, not telling you what you should do, but areas that you could look into. Or maybe if you already know where you want to go, talking with career services can help give you perspective on how to get there. So maybe it's how do you edit your resume, or maybe you've never created a resume and you want to build one with your current experience and show what you've already done, and what you want to add on to that Penn State degree once you graduate. Maybe it's even you're already planning for a graduate program, a master's and doctorate program. They can help you with that exploration as well. So for me, to start off as a Penn State student, I was utilizing personal counseling. I was meeting with my academic advisor. I was utilizing the resources of career services. All of these supports that, coming in as a first generation college student, I didn't originally know existed. And again, I'll share my screen with you. One moment. There we go. If you wanted to know how to connect with career services, you can just go to Involvement and Opportunities, click on Career Resources, and it's going to give you that information on how to connect with a career counselor. Lynn and Matt also have a great little introduction just to get to know them a little bit as well. And they can tell you about all of the resources that they have available, including Nittany Lion Careers, where all of our jobs and internships are posted. And that's for all Penn State campuses. So there are local, regional, national, and international opportunities posted there. They can also talk to you about Lion Link programs, where you can connect with alumni who are in your field or in fields of interest so that you can learn a little bit more. Again, as an alum, definitely recommend that Lion Link program as well to get connected. But they're a really, really great resource. Stop my share. And I've been mentioning, obviously, academic advising is very important as well. Your academic advisor is going to be listed in Lion Path under advisor information. Not going to show you that on Lion Path just because whenever I log in, you can see the students that I work with, their information pops up. So I don't want to show it to you directly. But if you ever need or have questions about Lion Path Help allows you to view tutorials on any questions that you might have about Lion Path. So finding your advisor, how to run an academic requirements report, how to schedule courses when we get to that time of the semester. Lots of important information there that your advisor can help you with. So when you're looking for your academic advisor, Lion Path, advisor information. Just can't show you that one online for confidentiality reasons. Two other thoughts in terms of connection. Well, maybe three actually. So one, more generally, is going to be in your classes. You're going to have discussion boards. You're going to be connecting, hopefully, with your classmates. And I want you to connect with your classmates. So don't just think about those discussion boards as something that you need to get done for class. Think about what are those connections, whether that's in your major specific courses, because that is obviously going to be very helpful because you're going to see those students again, most likely in class after class, but also in your general education courses as well. I made some friends in my general education classes that I never would have interacted with outside of those courses. They were in different majors. We had completely different major specific coursework that really only in those general education, arts, humanities, social and behavioral sciences, general health and wellness, interdomain classes. That's where I made some really great friendships that I just would not have otherwise. So I'd encourage you to take a step beyond those discussion boards and try and get to know your classmates. And maybe it's you setting up a study session or a group get together via Zoom outside of your normal coursework. But get to know them, because they're going to be the folks who really help make your Penn State student experience what it is. And of course, I want to encourage you to connect with your faculty as well. Those faculty connections, especially when you're looking for letters of recommendation, or if you're interested in going on to graduate school, having faculty who know you, who understand what your interests are. If you have an internship, whether that's a required part of your program or just something that you're interested in doing, they might be that connection to that internship. For me, as an example, whenever I was first applying for jobs, out of graduate school, I had a faculty member who was regularly sending me information about possible jobs. I had a faculty member who no longer worked for the university, but was working for the government, who offered me an opportunity because he knew the type of student that I was. He knew that what my work ethic was and what my background knowledge was. And he offered me a position while I was still in graduate school. So you never really know where those connections are going to lead, whether it's with fellow students or with your faculty or with any of the staff, career services, academic advising, student affairs. But taking that extra step to really get to know people who are part of your program is really, really important. And even today, I'm still in touch with many of the faculty that I had whenever I was a student. I know that's not as surprising given I'm an academic advisor working at Penn State, but some of them no longer work for Penn State University, and we're still in touch. So once you make those connections, they truly are lifelong. When we say we are Penn State, it is a pride. It is something that is lasting and forever, from the moment you're a student all the way until you graduate and become an alum, and hopefully remain a part of the Alumni Association, and have that Penn State spirit that travels with you wherever you go and whatever you do. Speaking of Penn State spirit, not surprising, I'm sure, again, I am a proud Penn State alum. I love working for the university. I became an academic advisor. I wanted to work in higher education because of my experiences as a student at Penn State. So the fact that I get to continue as a Penn Stater, as a staff member, really just makes me happy. It's something I enjoy doing. I love working with students and being able to help students in the way that I was helped. And one of the things that really made me feel that connection as a student, when I was working with my personal counselor and they said, you have to get connected, you have to get involved, I joined a student organization. And I know busy lives, college, family, jobs, everything that you have going on, outside of being a Penn State college student, you might think, do I have time to get involved in a club or organization? And I'd encourage you to take a look. We have everything from student government to Thon, the Penn State Dance Marathon, to major related clubs and organizations. For me, I became a Lion Ambassador, which is basically an arm of the Alumni Association. We don't have Lion Ambassadors at Penn State World Campus yet. We do have the World Campus Blue and White Society, if you would like to express your Penn State pride by becoming a member there. That is also a slightly selfish plug, as I am co-advisor to the World Campus Blue and White Society. So if you ever want to meet me in person via Zoom, we can do that at one of our meetings. But for me, I had a pride for Penn State. And so joining an organization where I could express that pride is what connected me to the university. It's what gave me that foundation. It's what brought me back for that second semester when I was still, nervous, I was still stressed, I was still not sure if it was the right spot for me. Having that connection to a passion of mine is what really brought me back and kept me at Penn State. And most folks who know me, whenever I mention that I considered leaving Penn State after my first semester, they're pretty shocked. But having that additional outside of the classroom piece, I think can be really valuable. It can help, again, relieve some of the stresses of being a college student. It can give you something fun to do. It can give you another area to help build your resume, if you're looking for something like that. And really easy to get involved in our clubs and organizations as well. And I'll share my screen just to show you. So again, if we're on that involvement and opportunities, we have a link to student government. They are always looking for folks who are interested in being members of student government. So if you want to have your voice heard, to kind of put your stamp on your time at Penn State World Campus and show, what you want World Campus to be as a Penn State student, getting involved with student government is an amazing opportunity. But maybe that's not, exactly what you're interested in. The nice part is we have a whole variety of clubs and organizations that you can get involved with. You can just click on that Penn State World Campus Student Organization, And you'll see the whole variety of clubs and organizations that we have. Again, like I said, some are major specific, like the Biobehavioral Health Society or the Business Club. Some of them are honor societies as well. But maybe you just have an interest in Dungeons and Dragons and you want to join, the Dungeons and Dragons and More group at World Campus. There's a first gen affinity group. There's also a student who are parents affinity group as well. If you want to get involved in homecoming, Lion Pride, Psychi and Psychology Club, since I'm a psychology alum, I definitely think those are great ways to get involved there. The Video Game Club, World Campus Blue and White Society. Plus, if there's not a club or organization that you find interesting here, you can start your own club or organization. All you have to do is contact our student affairs folks, and they'll get you the information that you need in order to start a new organization. I had a student at a previous campus that I worked at. He started a group that was called Bread Circus. And whenever he told me that, I said, okay, you have to tell me, what does Bread Circus mean? And it was an organization for makers. So students who were doing different designs or poetry or building things, whatever their sort of creative outlet was, they could come and be a member of this organization and sort of present it to their fellow students and get ideas, and do brainstorming or just, share what they were making. And it came about by, he told me, one of his history courses, he was learning about Roman culture, and the Colosseum, and hence it being, the circus circle, and that bread would often be distributed whenever folks would come to the Colosseum to see a show or whatever it might be. So he named it Bread Circus. So all that to say, if there is not a club or organization that fits with your interests, you can make one. You can start one. It also looks really great for your resume whenever you're doing something like that. But it's just a great way to have that connection. And again, friends that I made that first semester within Line Ambassadors, within the Alumni Association group, like the Blue and White Society, I'm still friends with them to this day, and that's, oh goodness, almost 25 years later. So, I know it might be a little additional work to fit something like that in, but I think the benefits are just an amazing opportunity. And again, all of the resources and offices that I've chatted with you about today, they're all free to you as a Penn State student. There are some clubs and organizations that may have an additional sort of registration fee, but the wellness resources, the getting involved, the meeting with your academic advisor, to utilizing career resources, even I didn't mention specifically our student disability services folks. I am a person with a disability. When I was a student, I made sure that I was, listed with our student disability services, just in case I ever needed to use an accommodation. I would definitely encourage you, if you are a person with a disability, to do that as well. You may never utilize, resources or accommodations, but if it's on file, it gives us the opportunity to make sure we have that support for you. And like I said, I did it as a student, and I would highly recommend it. I serve as one of our student disability services representatives, and again, it's just another free, amazing opportunity that we have for you as a Penn State student. So if you're, a person with a disability, consider taking advantage of our resources. And I think, if I could have you take sort of one overarching idea from our conversation today, is just to know that we're here to support you. All of your faculty, your academic advisor, the staff, whether it's student affairs or student disability resources or career services, we're here for you. As a Penn State alum, that always makes me a little teary because it doesn't stop. It's from the moment you are a Penn State student to when you become a Penn State alumni. We are here. And so take advantage of all the resources and everything that you can while you are a Penn State student. And hopefully, like me, whenever you become a Penn State alum, you'll look back on your Penn State experience and be able to see the growth and the change and the influence that Penn State has had on your life. And maybe you'll be able to give back in some way. Who knows, maybe you'll become a Penn State academic advisor one day. But even if not, I encourage you to stick with your dreams, stick with your goals, become that Penn State alum. And when you are, make sure you share that knowledge, share that wisdom, share that growth with future Penn Staters as well. Thanks for taking the time to listen to this presentation. If you have any questions and would like to reach out to me, my email is cae136@psu.edu. And again, my name is Carrie Egnosak. We are Penn State. Have a great day, everybody.